I've left my job. I'm into
Congratulations.
of course, and just do that and then try it out for yourself. I mean, you will get results. I've done 215 contracts with the state of Illinois.
And 215.
You need to find the right information from the right person who has done that, get some wins, and then doors are going to open for you.
What's going on, hustlers? I'm Decan Tate. Welcome back to the channel where we talk all things government contracting and doing business with DLA. I have my right-hand man with me, Mr. Sam White, who for probably the first time ever is calling into the channel from the same place for 2 videos in a row. That doesn't ever happen.
It might even be 3 at this point.
Yeah, man, we're going for a new record and almost.
I'm due to hop on a plane soon, surely.
Yeah, he's gonna be in Emirates first class calling in from.
I wish.
But I have a very special guest with us, Mr. Jose. Jose, take this time to introduce the people to yourself. Tell us where you're calling from, and you can tell us a little bit about yourself, how you got into government contracting, doing business with DLA, your story. Give us the rundown, Jose. The floor is yours.
Yeah, sure, guys. Thank you for having me on the channel. I appreciate. My name is Jose, and I'm from Chicago, Illinois. I got into government contracting probably somewhere middle of 2023. That's when I started to research about what government contracting is. At that time, I was trying to start something on my own. I wanted to be. I wanted to quit my job and start my own business, and there were a few things that I was looking at, government contracting being one. And I realized this has real potential. There's a real customer. Everything else was dependent on these private companies, and I felt like this is something that I can do. And my job, my last role was in procurement, so I was talking to vendors. So I thought this is something that I can bring to government contracting as far as procurement is concerned. And that's about the time I started researching, and I found a lot of people online, YouTube, who were teaching the same. And then I found I started watching his videos, and I felt that this is really the thing that I want to do, which is commodity space where I want to be, because service seemed to be very capital intensive and require a lot of ground experience. But commodity is commodity, and I felt safe in that phase, and I felt that DLA would be a good start. And I started my DLA journey back in early 2024. I started bidding full time in May, but basically that's how I got started.
Very cool. Yeah, because I remember our initial conversation. I remember you telling me you were working a 9-to-5 a day job that kind of was quite related to what you wanted to do. But I'm always curious, like, what had you wanting to actually go and start your own business instead of just staying in your job? Like, what actually made you want to go and try entrepreneurship?
Yeah, I mean, the company that I was working with, I was with them for almost 13 years. And I was a good employee, and they treated me well. But I kind of see that, whatever I'm doing I'm doing it for somebody else, right? I was a good employee for them for a long time. And I felt like I wanted to build a business mainly because I know this is something that's going to be passed on to my kids. Whatever I do today in my job, it's with me. It's going to stay with me. It ends with me. But in business, I can transfer that all to my kids. They can start building from wherever I left. And I had this business mindset. The only reason I started this late was, of course, financials. You cannot just leave your job. And I think 2023, we were, as a family, we were in a good spot with our savings and all. And I thought that this is the time. I was almost turning 40. So age-wise, I felt like this is the time. I mean, I got to do it right now. If not, it's going to be too late. Things are going to just keep getting busier. You will never have that sweet spot. And if it is now. So I actively started looking. I mean, I went to the extent that when I felt like I was getting a bit of traction, I started to tell my folks, because my company has been with me for so long. So I wanted to be very transparent with them. I started to speaking to my manager and told them, hey, I'm starting to look elsewhere, because I was in a very key role in the company. So I did not want to just leave them high and dry. I started having those conversations to kind of get into that mindset, that I'm actually conversing and I'm actually making show people understand this is what I want to do. So I kind of keeping myself responsible and that I'm actually I'm gonna do that. Basically, yeah, that was the main driver. I wanted to build something on my own. I wanted to put that effort daily 9 to 5 on my own thing, or whatever it is. It doesn't matter if it's gonna pay me less initially.
Can I ask you a question? So you talked about wanting to leave something behind for your kids and the whole legacy aspect, right? You could make the argument, and I am only asking this question, one, to play devil's advocate, and then two, just to get a little bit more insight as to what you were thinking. You could make the argument that somebody could work a job, they could set money aside, and then they can go into real estate, or they can start, they can start investing, and they can start buying index funds and equities, or they can start day trading and then teach their kids to trade, or they can open up car washes, whatever the case may be, right? There's a lot of ways that you can leave a legacy for those that come after you. What specifically about government contracting was like, this is how I want to leave something behind for my kids?
For me, it was I was very clear that there is no comparison between doing business, and being employed for someone. There are multiple things I can say. I mean, you can be as high as a VP in a company, but you never know if the company performs bad. You would be asked to leave, and then again you are in the same job hunting phase, and then as you grow older. And with me being the case that I was with the company for so long that I felt my skills were kind of tied into that company. And I was very good for that company, but I could not imagine myself starting a new role in a new company and getting accustomed to their processes and their people and their folks. That was scary. I mean, if I want to do that, and I might just start my own thing and, get through that initial hurdles and difficult times that you always have with either starting a new job or business. So it was always business for me, and I was always looking for something that can work for me. And I tried a few different things. This is not the first thing. Like, I tried to doing something with logistics, run few trucks, got people in Canada. They are finding US local businesses to do their trucking. I did a few of those, but those were not really sustainable. I felt that the competition was really high. It was very money intensive, in the sense that I will have to make a really big investment to even get started. I would need to have to be able to make money, real money. I would probably need my own trucks, which was not going to happen anytime soon. And again, I would be back in that same zone where I am waiting to accomplish that goal money wise, to have that much money and then start something, and that never going to happen. So this was very good in the sense that I know there will be no initial investment, because whatever I'm buying, I'm supplying to a customer who I know will pay on time. So it's all about rolling cash. And I knew that this would be something that, I can build upon, because as I roll my cash, I build my credit history, I can get loan or whatever I need, I mean, this felt like something which is really real. And I was able to personally interact with a few people who were in the space. That was really defining moment, because when you talk to someone who is doing exactly this, and he's from your neighborhood, your kids go to school with your kids, and you talk to them, and they are doing something with government contracting, and you talk to them, and you hear their story, how they started. That kind of adds credibility. I was never gonna be doing something that I find on a YouTube video. A lot of people were selling digital marketing. I was trying to get into that as well a few years back. I thought that's a very good thing. You can sell digital marketing to these lawyers and real estate people who always need that. But nothing made end-to-end sense to me, money-wise. And this seemed very simple. It's government. They're buying. Yes, I know they're buying. Yes, they are buying from common people. I always hear small businesses. I know there was an Apex Accelerator office that all they are doing is basically small business. I felt that there's a lot of support in the community for this kind of work. And this is an actual thing that people are doing around me and making money out of it, whether being prime or sub. But I could actually see real examples of a lot of people around in the neighborhood who were working on government projects, landscaping companies, the park outside my house. We got a very nice park out there. There's a contractor working there. I mean, so I know these things always are in demand.
How many years would you say like you were trying stuff in total?
I initially tried something in 2019, but that was the COVID time. I was at home, and I was able to get spare time out of my office work and try a few things. And that was the time I was looking into digital marketing.
Because the reason I ask is like, is one thing you don't really hear too much, especially on YouTube videos or just online in general. Like we're sat here, right, speaking to you because we want to talk about your success in government contracting and the journey you've come on. But overall, I know we've been working with you for about a year. This has been like a 7-year journey for you to leave something behind for your kids. Like it's admirable, like, but it's also just proof is in the pudding to anybody watching. Like, there's no such thing as an overnight success,
Oh
right? Like,
no.
you've been trying, and now we're getting somewhere, right?
Yeah, I mean, yeah, I don't believe in overnight success. Definitely, if there's something that's overnight, I mean, that has to be wrong. There's something which you don't know about it, for sure, for sure. I 100% believe in that. Yeah, I was just trying, and and nothing was really clicking. As I said, right, everything either required some form of foundation, which felt like really difficult to build. Either it required a lot of money, a lot of time, a lot of knowledge that I did not have time to get. But this was pretty dry and simple. I mean, this is product that the government is buying. You need to understand how they call their products, how they name their products, find that product and supply to them. And the results, that was the main thing. You could just take out 2 months of your time or 1 month of your time and just do that and then try it out for yourself. I mean, you will get results. I mean, that was the good thing. The results were very quick. It was not like I was doing something that I had to wait for a year to see if it works or not. Yeah,
Well,
I mean,
let's
within the
let's
first
let's
2 months, I could see what are the bids out there, what are the products they're selling, and like as I said, I started working with state of Illinois. The bids would
yeah.
expire today, and sometimes on the same day in the evening, I will get a call. How cool is that?
It's very cool. Let's explore that a little bit. So just bring people up to speed. So we started working together like sort of late 2024, early 2025. So that just before you started working with us, what were some of the issues you were having at that time? Like you had decided you wanted to do government contracting. What were some of the issues you had at that point, which then made you reach out to us?
Still looking for products to provide and contracts to bid on manually? There's a more efficient way. With AI-powered market research based on criteria your firm gives the model, Contracts AI instantly shows solicitations you can win and products you can sell. Save time and win DLA awards 7 times faster. Compare solicitations in seconds. Get packaging and technical requirements broken down for every RFQ. Know how to price your bid with curated algorithms to calculate your markup for you. Gone are the days of FBDS and Gibbs' archaic user interface. This is world-class market research. It's modern, it's disruptive, it's built for contractors ready to win fast. Contracts AI. Sign up for free.
When I know that I was going to DLA, I know that with DLA, there's going to be a little more work in the sense there's a higher barrier to entry because you have these shipping methods and packaging method that you need to understand. And then the language of DLA is not simple, right? If they need a screw, they're not going to call it a screw. It's going to be number, stock number, or whatever. And so I knew that I need to understand that language, and I need to understand how DLA works, the processes behind that. And I knew there and then that I'm not going to spend time doing my own research because that's just going to be more time spent doing nothing, on your own business. So I knew that I need help. And that's when I started looking for good help. I started with, as I said, I started watching some YouTube videos, see what people have to say. And there were not many folks talking about DLA at that time, at least when I was researching. And I think I found, I remember I found, I was watching, what's that? Who's that guy? Coffee. Eric
Oh,
Coffee.
Eric.
Yeah, I saw Day's video on Eric Coffee's channel. He was presenting, he was dressed up in suit and looked a little different. And he was telling folks like, I'm very young, but why need to listen to me because I've done this, and this, and I've done. And he was talking about products. And that's how I searched Day and I found his videos and I felt, okay, this is the guy who's working in what I need answers for. Because government contracting is huge, right? You have got SAM.gov, service contracts, local, state, county. There's so much. So I knew I would be overwhelmed if I started going in every direction. So when I knew that DLA is what I want to do,
Mhm.
I spoke to you guys. I heard what Dave was telling and what his background was, and it was again very simple, right? He got his cage code. He gave you his cage code on the channels. You can go and look him up. So I knew that this guy has done those contracts, and there's no way he does not know what's happening. Definitely he knows the processes, because if you have done a few contracts, you should know how it works. So okay, then that's that. Once that was cleared for me, I was clear that I need help. This is not going to be something I'm trying to work on 5-6 months and waste my time. I signed up, and that was really good, because that took out that demotivation factor. Because what happens is you start something and you are learning and you are learning, and that learning curve is so slow. Sometimes people get demotivated during that time. But I did not have that experience, because I watched those videos. I understand how to bid. I started bidding while watching the videos. I did not even finish the videos. I have not even finished these videos even now.
So that's what I tell people. I tell people when they start that, I say, like,
know.
don't skip to packaging or
Yeah.
don't skip ahead. Watch from the start, like
Correct.
market research or how to bid, and do it as you're watching it.
Right.
Don't worry about the rest later.
Correct. Yeah. I mean, once I got that basic understanding, what is DLA, how the DLA bid board works, what are the products, how do you find those products, how do you do your research, that was all that I needed, right, to bid. I started bidding with that, and that information was good enough for me. And once I won the contract, I went back today. I asked him about packaging, and I took it step by step. And
It's the best way to do it, because I think a lot of people, like you said, it's easy to get overwhelmed just in government contracting as a whole, right? But then even within DLA, it can be easy to get overwhelmed, because it's like, oh man, like what happens if I actually win a contract? I don't know what to do. So then I don't even bother bidding. And it's like, well, what are you going to do? Just sit on the sidelines and never play? Like, you have to start just playing. And once you start playing, you figure out, you do a few things and you're like, okay, I know how to do that bit. I know how to bid on a contract. Oh, I've won. Okay, now I can figure out how to do the packaging. And you're so much further than just that analysis paralysis, right? It's so common, and a lot of people deal with it, but you just have to start, right? You start somewhere.
Correct. Yeah. And once you start doing, once you put your mind that this is what you want to do, the different venue starts opening. You talk to people, you hear from them. Like on one of the calls from Day, I heard about these webinars, seminars. I started looking up on those, and how I ended up doing State of Illinois is because of that. Because I realized they held these seminars and webinars to help small businesses, and I went to one in Springfield, which is the state capital.
I remember you telling me about that. Yeah, you told me you got in your car and you drove and you just
I went 3 hours to Springfield. I went there, and that opened up a few doors, because they told me about their bid boards, the local agencies, and they said, hey, this is where we post drops which are $25,000 and under. This is where we are posting our commodity requirements. This is where we are buying paper, simple stuff, that every small business can sell to us.
How does that kind of conversation go if you've already been doing DLA stuff, right? And then you go and you explore a different facet of contracting, and you drove there, right? So you go and you introduce yourself, and then is it like, hey, listen, I've already done DLA, and then like, oh, awesome. Because you've already done DLA and you've already done federal contracting, you know how this works. And then they're like, this is where you go, please work with us. Or is it more so like, oh, well, DLA is different, so you have to relearn that, or you have to relearn, state contracting before you come work with us? What was that conversation and that process like?
I mean, I've attended a number of seminars now to date, and I feel like on all these seminars, these people are really nice. All my interactions have been really, really nice, and they have always added some value. Every seminar you go, you learn something new, and DLA adds a lot of credibility to your company, because not a lot of people who are in commodity space even know where to find these contracts or do them. And when you tell them, we do mill standard packaging, that really grabs their attention, because they know this is the people who are from that community. Even if you talk to Apex and you tell them, hey, I've done DLA, that really tells them, hey, this guy is serious. Have you really done DLA contracts? How many of them? So like just now before your call, I had a meeting with my Apex mentor, and he was going through because they need to report back to DOD, because DOD is the department that funds them. So they have to go and tell them that, hey, we had this guy as a mentor, and we have worked with him for a year, and he has done these many contracts. All he wanted to talk about was my DOD contracts. even though there were 6 contracts, but he was preparing his report and he wanted to keep them on the top, despite of the fact that I've done 215 contracts with the state of Illinois.
Damn, 215
last year.
Wow.
So he put those as one line item, and then he put all 6 contracts, even though they were small, separately at separate line item in his report, because he wanted to really showcase that they really helped somebody with defense contracts just to build that credibility. And so yeah, if you tell somebody you have done DLA, that really grabs their attention because they understand there is complexity to that.
How many contracts are you up to now? In the past year, how many have we done?
With DLA, I've done 6, and with state of Illinois, I'm almost 215.
220 contracts, folks.
220 contracts. So would you, or I guess based off of your last kind of excerpt there, those 6 contracts basically gave you the infrastructure, the systems, or the skills, whatever you want to call it, to deal with the other 200 smoothly. Is that a fair assessment?
Definitely. If you're able to do defense, that gives you a lot of confidence, right? Like, you need confidence. You need to believe in yourself that you are able to accomplish this. So those were really definitely something that made me more confident that if I can do DLA, state is a piece of cake. And more importantly, I was able to actually bring a lot of my working with the state to DLA, because the volume with state was so much that I was able to build these vendor relationships. So I started working with these companies who were selling me stuff for
Makes
state,
sense.
and they know that I'm making these purchases so often, and I'm buying $10,000, $15,000, that they were always answering me when I wanted a quote for DLA, because they
That's
know, right?
awesome, dude. So you basically just created like this positive feedback loop between state of Illinois and then DLA. The people from the state are like, well, this guy's already done DLA, so we want to work with this guy. And then because you're working with the people from the state, they're like, and we'll help you out to do more DLA stuff. So then you just have like this.
Because you know, right? I told you too. I reached out to you initially when I was not winning any contract, and I said, I'm not getting these quotes. I'm not getting these responses from these vendors. That's the thing, because I know it's all about price. If you have a good price, you're going to win the contract, right? But if you don't have a good price to start off with, there's no way you can win a contract. It's all about a price competition there. So that was a very big thing, because I was able to bargain, because these vendors know that I'm buying. I'm a real company who has been working with them and has been buying their product. So they were serious, and they considered me a serious account. They were responding me via emails. They were good. They would call me and follow up, if they won't hear from me. Hey, are you ordering anything? Do you need anything help? So that really helped me.
That's awesome.
I know, just coming back to your initial story and your reasons why you came into this in the first place. And they're even like behind the legacy for the kids, right? That's the long play, right? But your more, I guess, short-term goal was to leave the job. So where are we at now? As of mid-February 2026, where are we at now?
Yeah, I've left my job. I'm into
Congratulations.
I'm on government contracting full time. I mean, I could not have done this.
Beautiful.
There's no way I can do government contracting with working on the side on a job. There's no way. There's
How does it feel?
Feels good. I got my time back. I don't have to ask permission for vacation or anything else. I mean, it's my time. I was out of country for about a month in December, and
Nice.
checks were still coming in. I was still getting purchase orders because I had guys who
Still getting paid whilst on vacation. The money is just numbers on a screen. It's what it allows you to do, or the business setup is what it allows you to do, right?
Yeah, a lot of flexibility. Yeah, I mean, I've with picking up my kids from school, dropping them off to school, so much flexibility, and that gives my wife a lot of flexibility. She's working full time, so she knows that I'm at home. If there's anything that's required of me, I'm always home. My schedule is flexible.
Yeah, and I mean this in the most respectful way, but looking at you now compared to our first conversation, you even look just lighter in your face. You just look happier.
Yeah, there's a lot of things on my mind. I mean, right now, my thing is that I'm kind of becoming stagnant with state of Illinois. So my next step is to kind of increase these revenue streams. So I'm exploring different agencies that I can start working with, and and my thing is always that I start on my own. I start bidding on those contracts. When I get my first few wins, then I kind of take that whole thing and bring another person
Yeah.
and hand him over, and then he can continue doing that.
You've just got new problems now, right? I think Hormozy says like the dragons you slay always get bigger, but you have bigger tools and more resource to fight them now, as
Correct.
opposed to when you start out, you're just like a guy with a stick, right? It's like you're just trying to figure it out. Whereas now, you still business is business, right? The game never ends. It's just how long you can stay in it. So it's quite a journey you've been on, and like over the past year, what would you say is probably some of the biggest shifts, either in your mentality or just shifts in your skill set? Like, what's some of the biggest things you've learned or biggest realizations over the past year?
I would not say that I learned it, but I felt like really helped me win those 215 contracts. What really sped my journey was I started delegating a lot of stuff. Once I understood the process, and I could create my own SOP in my mind that these are the steps that you need to take to get to these results. I did not take time to think that, oh, I need to keep these profits in. I started spending my whatever I was earning back into the business. I hired somebody, and I did not care in the first 2 months if he was not making me any money, as long as he was breaking even. And that's easy to do. If you find somebody, I find somebody overseas, right, who's like a virtual assistant, and I taught him the process. Even if I'm paying him $200 is nothing. He can make that in profit. So as long as he can make those mistakes and learn, and then eventually he gets better at it. That's how I started delegating, and I felt like if he's not able to keep up, I bring another person as a competition. So I think that was really the key. If I would have stayed in that zone where I would have thought, no, I should not bring on somebody because I've not started making real money. It's all, it's just initial years of the business. I should hold back from expanding. I'm just a small business. I'm just 5 months old. I do not need a team. I should do it on my own. That would have not led me to those many contracts. So I onboarded people at very, very early stage, like first 4-5 contracts. When I got the hang of it, I started looking for people. I actually made a pause for an entire week. I did not bid on contracts, and I was only looking for people to onboard.
I think there's something to be said about that, because when you get people in early, and I'm saying this from my own experience of bringing people in before we quote unquote needed people here at Namyad, by the time things ramp up, your people not only know what to do, but the same way that we as business owners get confidence, your people now have confidence in terms of like what to do. I don't need to tell Sam what Sam needs to do. Sam will just be like, yo, I did this. We have other people that are just like, yo, I just did this, and it gets done. And your people now have confidence, and then they take ownership, and now your success becomes their success, and then vice versa. And now you become invested in pouring back into your people and enabling them with the skill set to go above and beyond in their role. So I think there's something to be said about biting the bullet early and just being like, I will invoke the opportunity cost of, like you said, maybe focusing less on revenue and bidding on contracts, or for us, that might be marketing or working on the software. That might be making YouTube videos or getting customer feedback, and just being like, well, we're going to onboard this new person because we want to give them the skill set that they need to be successful in this role. So that way, February, we're not making any money from this new person, but in October, November, December, they're absolutely killing it, and they're benefiting, and we're benefiting as a whole. So I think that's a very good thing to hear from a new business owner, because a lot of times people are like bootstrap, which yes, to an extent, but once you get to the point where it no longer serves you to be doing something and you could go be doing other tasks working on the business rather than in the business, it's like, by all means.
Just sort of wrap up the last couple of questions. See, there might be a number of people watching this, maybe considering, in a situation that you were a year ago, right? Considering getting help, wanting to go all in on DLA. As someone who's obviously been working quite closely with Day and myself over the past year, what's your experience been like working with the Nomyad team?
My experience has been all good. I feel that the course does deliver on its promise. The promise is not to make you rich. It's basically to give you information, good information, quality information, make you more knowledgeable than you are about DLA. And it does all of that. It does all of that. I mean, I got all my basic information to get me started from Nomiad. Of course, I did my own research, but the real things that would, the technical stuff, the things that I really needed to get started and start bidding and winning contracts and even fulfill them, I got all of that. And that's all you need. Once you are in this space, you will realize there's so much more help out there that you can get and grow. These agencies are there to help you. Your local Apex accelerators are there to help you, but you need that initial, initial wins to give you those confidence, and you cannot delay that from trying to do everything on your own. You need to find the right information from the right person who has done that, get all of that, put it to test, get some wins, and then doors are going to open for you.
Yeah, it's really interesting, like hearing your story about like the relationships you've built further down the line, how you were able to take advantage of those and capitalize on those because you were able to go into them as someone prepared for the opportunities, right? Like some may look at that and be like, oh, that was like luck, but it's like luck is just when preparation meets opportunity, right? Because you went in prepared because you had your systems in place, you knew how to win contracts, you knew how to fulfill them, you were just there ready to seize on it. I suppose the flip side, if you'd gone to those things without investing in yourself or learning anything, you would have known what to do in those moments, right?
Generally, people are skeptical about these online courses. It's because of the amount of courses that are out there, right? But this is something which is very, like, it's already out there. So you don't have to kind of like, cage code, right? That's one of the things that you can use to check somebody if he's real or not. So I think this is very easy to check and make sure you are not signing up with somebody who's going to, just take your money and not give you any value. The risk is really low. I feel government contracting, this is one of the most low risk business in the sense that, as long as you do A, B, C, D, you will get up, you will end up with award. There's no rocket science. You need a good price. If you're not getting a good price and you're bidding, how you win a contract, but then you also need to know how to bid on a contract, how to understand what a product is, how to find a good vendor. So I think I feel like this, if somebody wants to get into DLA, commodity space, this is a perfect course. It gives you everything. I honestly say it gives you everything. You cannot ask for more. I mean, this is all the basic stuff that you need. You cannot say, that there's something lacking in this course or there's not something that's not provided to you. You need whatever you need as somebody who really wants to do it. This course has all the information. As I said, I did not even finish his videos. Yeah, everything is there in those videos to get you started on DLA. If this is what you want to do.
I'll take it. I'll take it.
It's pretty much all from me, Day. I think.
All right, brother. Well, it has been an absolute pleasure. We're super grateful. I always like to take a minute to just say this at the end of these calls. We know that you guys are business owners. We know that you guys have 1,000,001 things going on in your lives and in your companies now. So we are always humbled and grateful for the opportunity to have a conversation with you guys because we know you have to carve out space for us on your calendar now. It's not like working a 9 to 5 where it's like, okay, I'm off at 5 p.m. every day, and then Saturdays and Sundays are free. I know that this requires you guys making space on your calendar. So, Jose, I just want to express our gratitude for taking the time to speak with us. It has been a pleasure, and super, super, super happy for you, man, to hear that you've moved on from the job, and now you're able to be home with the kids. You're able to pick them up from school. You're going on vacation for a month at a time, and you're still getting paid, man. Like it's a night and day difference from where you were almost exactly a year ago. And that's all you can really ask for. And I think some people are like, oh yeah, the problems go away once you become a business owner and, you start making money. They don't go away. They just change. You have different kinds of problems, but now you don't have problems about spending time with your kids or hanging out with your partner or being able to take some time off, right? Those problems go away. Now you got problems of how do I write SOPs for the employees? How do I make sure that I'm delivering on the promises that I make to my customers and my vendors and all that good stuff? So, just super happy, man, and we're excited to see where you take things in the future.
Just to cut you off, just to chime in on that last point, like hearing those stories, like achieving those things, like we like as the team here at Nomad, like that comes up like in our team meetings, on our our team group chat, when we hear like, oh, like someone will drop in, Jose's won this many contracts, I've just checked in with him, he's here, like that comes up, and that's like the whole team is like, wow, like there's
There are
always,
people that
we
you've
know what
never
we do
met.
works, but having that reminder is like, that's why we do what we do. Like it makes it worthwhile when
There
we
are people
see.
that you have never met that are like happy for your success in our
Yeah.
like there are people in countries that you couldn't even imagine that don't have never interacted with you. They're like, oh man, Huzaifa, we're so happy to hear that. We're so happy to hear that, he's doing well. There are people who have replied to your emails and you will never know their name and you don't know they exist, but they are celebrating your success. And that is definitely something, Sam is right, that we talk about in our meetings. And I'm like, guys, this is why we do this at the end of the day. Money comes and goes, but the impact that you have and the relationships that you build with people, that is what actually matters. You can always get the money back. You can go broke and you can make it all back tomorrow. But being able to have conversations like this where you're like, yeah, I'm able to spend time with my kids, like that, we can't get our time back. So to hear that you've taken control of your time in a way that's meaningful to you and your family, man, like just praise to God, all glory to God on that one, man. We're very happy to hear that. So again, it has been a pleasure. Thank you guys so much for watching all the way until the end. Not only are we looking forward to your success, but we're absolutely sure of it. Take care, everybody.